to God, I am Hunkpain!
Hello and welcome Tano. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay of Gyre against Level Cap. Now previously in Warframe we did Gyre Level Cap with Tempest Barrage Helmet ability, but as I promised you Tano, every time I take a Warframe to Level Cap it will be with different helmet ability to give you variety and to make sure that everyone find its style in my channel. The reason we're making a new build for Gyre because she received a new augment called the Reverse Rotor as well in the update Valis Undermined. First thing first, like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this Warframe. Let's go for her kit. And the reason we go through her kit is to take this as beginners friendly approach so Thanos learn about her kit and maybe you learn something new here. Her passive, Gyre's abilities have a 10% chance to deal critical damage for each electrical statue that affect the enemy. I think the passive written wrong because on wiki it says something else. On wiki it says, Gyre's abilities gain a flat 10% critical chance per active electricity statue proc. That means this passive should be critical chance, not critical damage. And the statue proc affecting an individual enemy deals 2 times critical damage against that enemy. Now, the bonus stack additively with Cathode Grace increase the overall critical chance at lower electricity statue stack counts. Passive and Cathode Grace combined provide up to maximum 300% ability critical chance, so you'll be red critting him. From the passive alone, a minimum of 30 electricity proc will reach the capped ability critical chance. Gyre abilities can reach orange and red critical multiplier to inflict 3 and 4 ability critical damage. From the passive alone, orange crits start at 11 stacks, 110% critical chance, and red crits at 21 stacks, 210% critical chance, respectively. Helmet subsumed ability and railjack turrets abilities such as Seeker Volley do not benefit from Gyre passive. So you see, that's how the passive should be available in the game. I know DE doesn't want to make it like a lot of writing, so I suggest they make it like tips. Okay, so every ability has different things, like from the wiki, they just make it like tips and we can tab through the ability to learn more about it. That's very important, DE. We don't want a misinformation in the game, because if I am a new player and I read this, my ability have a chance to deal critical damage. So I'm just get confused about that. So if you're watching this or someone can forward the video for them, just like help them out. Now, we got here Arc Sphere. Launch a giratory sphere that will deal high damage on impact and periodically deal electrical shock to nearby enemies. Hit multiple enemies at once with initial launch to enhance damage. Now it is simple, it is easy to use. Check this out. I mean, all I have to do is cast the ability and you see that giratory, boom. Look at that. Boom. I mean, it's really nice ability for CC. And I really like this one. This one is when you're defending a target or you're like want to stand still, it's just perfect. You know. Now, you got an augment called the Conductive Spear. Projectiles that pass through Arc Sphere have guaranteed electricity statue effect and 75% electricity damage. And this augment is the only reason, or the main reason, let's say, I kept the first ability and I helmet the second ability. Second ability, Coil Horizon. Throw forward a giratory sphere that will implode after a few seconds or can be manually triggered. Now this giratory is really simple and easy to use. You can throw it like this and in a couple seconds it will create a sphere to pull in enemies, which is really good and procs a lot of statues. Or you can just like double tap and you pull in enemies like so. Amazing CC and I love it. It got a coil recharge augmenter. Giratory sphere can be recalled. Enemies in its radius suffer 500 electricity damage and chain other enemies. Enemies pulled into detonation suffer additional discharge. Really nice, really good, and we used to do actually some crazy stuff with this augmenter. Like for example, I'm gonna show you really quick. Like this one. Boom. Okay, so we throw the giratory like this, and then we recall it, and then we hit it with the melee, and then we recall it, and we hit it with the melee, and then we recall it, we hit it with the melee, and we kept doing that over and over and over and over again, which makes this really broken. And this is for another build that I will be preparing for you, Tano, for the future. Okay, so yeah, it can be really nasty, it can be really powerful, and yeah, but without that augment, it's just gonna be like sphere pulling in enemies, and you're good to go for that. But now, moving to the third ability, Cathode Graze. You gain a brief burst of increased critical chance and energy regen. The critical chance, they are for your weapons actually. If we look here, it's gonna go Gyre expends 75 energy as she surges portent electric current through herself and gyral blocks envelop her forearms. Cathode Grace grants Gyre critical chance bonus to her weapons and abilities as she constantly recharges energy points per second. That's shown right there. So the critical chance you're getting in there, it is for your weapons and for your abilities. And energy rate as well, that's what you're gonna get. But the Cathode Grace will stack additively with her passive. Now, and we got an augment, of course, Cathode Current. Now, eliminating an enemy while Cathode Grace is active will release an additional discharge from Rotor's Well with 200% damage and extend its duration by the same amount. Now, this one works with Rotor's Well, which is the fourth ability that we're gonna get to in a second. And that's considered, this augment, Cathode Current, considered one, if not the most powerful augment that you have in her kit. This is really powerful and really good, and you want to use this if you want to go full offensive on Gyre. So there's just an advice in there. Now, the Cathode Grace has a downside to it. If you keep killing enemies, the duration will increase. If you stop killing enemies and the duration ends, it's gonna go in a cooldown of 60 seconds. So you wanna keep killing enemies, really, you wanna keep killing enemies. You don't wanna stop. Now, Rotor's Well is her fourth ability. Gyre's mechanism spin at incredible speed, generating an electric field that shocks nearby enemies when Gyre gets critical hit. A large electrical discharge will chain from the enemy that was hit to nearby enemies. Now, this is the reason we're making a new augment for her, and we're making a new build for her for level cap, and this is the augment, Reverse Rotor's Well. Now, the augment will start at 35% of damage received is redirected toward the instigator as electricity damage. Now, you can actually go up to 75% with this. So this is the augment, right? And if you look here, it's just 40% because the 115 ability strength. But if we throw some strength in there, like brand range, trans fortitude, whatever, we get to 75%. But as you can see that you cannot exceed 75% even with 55 strength. So let's go like so, really quick, and see how effective this is. Heavy corrupted gunners, let's summon heavy corrupted gunners and see how this goes. So this is with the augment. Okay, let's unpause them quick. So this is with the augment. So as you can see there, I'm not building anything for shield, but as you can see, they're receiving like the damage already. Now I'm not doing any shield gating or anything, but now this tells you one thing and one thing only, that the 75% damage redirection doesn't fit her kit. Means by itself. So for example, what you want to do, you want to go for more, for example, shields. You want to get more shields in there, you want to get more damage reduction like adaptation, but this is a low to mid gameplay style. Let's do this again with the shield and damage reduction. As you can see, we're taking a extra damage reduction from impact, but as you can see, we're still losing our shield. So the way we do this, I believe, is if we give her, for example, a shield recharge, going with Aegis, going with full shield recharge. So let's die. Like that. Boom, 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 boom. Now, the problem with shield recharging in shield tanking or health tanking or shield redirecting in Warframe is that we don't scale with AHP. That means these enemies, they are already doing higher damage than our current AHP. So you want to go for more armor. Look at that. Our armor is just 25%. So you want to go for more armor. Let's just put more armor. Fiber right here, for example. Let's put in whatever in here. Okay. And we go for more armor. Right here. Fiber, for example. And then we go for more HP. From, for example, vitality, but I don't think I can equip that, so let's remove this one for a second, equip this one. So now our armor is 44%. We can go further, of course, by adding health, and now we're increasing our EHP. So what I'm trying to tell you here that this level 230, they can do this damage to you, and the damage reduction in Warframe doesn't really work at high level enemies, and you will die. Because you don't scale on your health, you don't scale on your shields, you don't scale on your overguard like the enemies does. Okay, and that's the big problem, and I hope DE give us the opportunity one day to actually build around EHP, means our health, shield, overguard will scale with enemies level, so we can build our armor and damage reduction. Okay, so that's her kit. Playing her is really easy, Tano. It's easier than you think. Now, all you want to do, activate the first ability to create the sphere, second ability to pull in enemies and get them in that vortex, fourth ability, and always third ability is the first thing you want to have active. And you keep going, spamming her abilities and getting all that electric hits and red crits on that enemies. With the third ability, you already got that bonus of critical chance and you're good to go. Okay, so now let's go for the build. Now, as always, Tano, before I build my weapons and my warframes, I rely on a method called DVS. D how I be dealing damage, V how I proc viral, S how I strip enemies armor. And stripping enemies armor is more important than you think, Tano. Now, I know the armor being reworked from 27,000 to 2,700, but the damage reduction that comes with the armor didn't get a rework. So 1 million armor, 100% damage reduction, or 1 armor for 100% damage reduction is the same thing, okay? But it's 90%. Now, Gyre, she is a really good, she can be built around nuking for low to mid game, but for level cap you cannot kill with her abilities, not at the KPM or KPS, you know, in that you would like. That's a way. So she is actually a CC, she's a CC, damage by weapons. You need your weapons to kill enemies on level cap. She will not be nice to play, relying only on her abilities to kill level cap. That's not the way to go. Now, if you don't like my methods on how I proc viral and armor strip in today's video, you can check this sheet right here. It can help you maneuver around the methods to find your own style. Next thing you need to learn that we go for level cap not as a show off, but to take down enemies at their maximum EHP, means at their maximum health, shield, and overguard, because enemy scales on EHP, not like warframes. So we want to kill them at their prime. Also, enemies at level cap, they get increase on their damage, so we want to try to survive at the enemy's maximum damage output. Now, boom. Now, if you don't know what shield gate is, I will show you really quick. Now, in Warframe, not like any other game, when you receive a fatal blow, you don't die, you use your shield, you enter gate phase, you become invulnerable for a certain duration based on how much shields you have. 1150 shields equal to 2.5 seconds. The idea of shield gating is getting back your shields before actually the gate finish, so enemies get access to your HP and you're pretty much dead. That's pretty much it. And the way to shield gate is either with Helmith abilities like, for example, Pillage or Condemn or so on, or for example with certain mods like Brief Respite or Ogre and so on. And now we start with the archon shards. I've been running 2 violet archon shards for critical damage on melee weapons, and your energy is already over 500, so you get the damage boost doubled. Now this is for ability strength, this one for mini equilibrium, health pickups gives energy and energy pickups gives health, and this is for casting speed for fast shield gating. Now the way we'll be shield gating, brief respite in the aura. The abilities you cast, they will consume energy, and that energy will be converted to shields, and that's how you react when you lose your shields. Now, primal sure-footed is not a must, and it's not something you really need in there if you're running Uniro, for example, or you're running low to mid game, but at the end game you don't want to get knocked down against level cap. That's very important. But if you don't have primal sure-footed, and obviously you don't, you get normal sure-footed, or you can run hand spring instead. Right there. For faster knockdown recovery, to spend less time in the ground so enemies doesn't actually take you down. As I said, if you're running low to mid game, run whatever you want in here. For the end game, I feel it is needed in there. Or if you're running constantly overguard, maybe from your secondary weapon as a fortifier, or you have a friend who's buffing you with overguard, or you're using something for overguard, that's something else we can talk about. Parameter continuity for duration, flow for energy max, precision intensify for 90% ability strength for your fourth ability, and it is higher than transit fortitude and a bit less than blind rage without that negative effect. So we're having 115 here, true, but if you look here, we have 71% damage redirection. Now, archon stretch ability range and ability that deal electricity damage restored to energy over 5 seconds, which is good. Primary redirection to get the shield gate to 2.5 seconds, okay? And we have 1820 shields. Feels good, but you know, they will be one-shotted. And rolling guard for bad situation, and trust me, you need rolling guard. You don't want to find yourself against two Thraxes and there is enemy fire or Tarkunyar kicking you out. You want to come out of that situation. Reverse rotor as well is the augment that we're using and the reason we're making this build. Augur reach for ability range and converting energy to shields. Energize obviously for energy. You don't want to run out of energy on Gyre especially. Arcane Aegis is the arcane that you need to understand how shield works before understanding this arcane. So, if you lose all your shields in Warframe, you don't regenerate shields only after 4 seconds. If you lose half of your shield, you regenerate shields after 1 second. If you are taking damage, you will never be able to regenerate shields by yourself. So Arcane Aegis, when it kicks in, you will be regenerating shields even if you're taking damage. So Arcane Aegis and the Grimoire technique is the only ways you can actually shield recharge while you're taking damage. I'm not saying you're casting ability, I'm saying you're not doing anything, just like you're taking damage and you're recharging your shields. And even though when you're taking damage, you're not going to be able to recharge your shields because you're going to be gating, and so it makes sense, right? So this is the way I built him. Now, when it comes to this augment, I give you my honest opinion. I feel if you go to cathode, current is better. That's the way I think it is. Because I didn't feel that huge amount of damage redirection that it really mattered. Again, because the problem not on the augment, but the problem is within Warframe itself, that the Warframe doesn't scale on their EHP. So if your EHP, for example, I start with 370 health at enemies level, for example, 1. At enemies level cap, maybe I should have 3,700,000 HP, and I will have maybe like 5 million shields, and I will have like maybe 3 millions overguard, and then we can talk about, you know, shield redirection and shield, let's say, reduction and armor and health, and we can build around that. Then that's actually gonna be fun. At least DE can start experimenting the EHP scaling with Warframes that has only HP, or Warframes that doesn't actually shield gate, like Lavos, Nidus, Inaros. Let me know what you think about this idea. So the augment, the helmet ability that you're going to be using is the reworked smite from Oberon. Now this smite is just lovely and it's just amazing, and this is the way actually we armor stripping enemies, and we are overguard stripping them, because one smite hit can actually take down a Thrax at level cap one shot. Okay, not most of the time, but let's say 70% of the time you can one shot the Thrax with just smite. So this smite is just beautiful. And not only that, and when you kill that target, the target beside them is going to get enemies that near that target also take the portion of the damage, and it is just beautiful, Tano. And let me show you. So now the way we play this is really simple. Let's summon some heavy corrupted gunners like so. No, actually you guys wanted the Manique, right? There you go. We're getting the Manique, the card bombarded Manique, because they are having the highest EHP on Simulacrum. Okay, we cast the third ability, always has to be active. 3 of the first ability, 4th ability always active, and we got ourselves the smite in. As you can see, the enemies are armor stripped. You see that? Now, which ability you want to take away for a helmet ability is up to you. You want to take the first or the second? Up to you. For me, I took the first for some sort of CC in this way, but if you like the pulling in enemies and hitting them with the melee weapon, bringing them in, bringing them back for more electricity, and yes, the second ability will bring you more electricity in there, combining it with the first, it's gonna be crazy, but you need to put a helmet ability somewhere, right? So yeah. Now for Thraxes, I want to show you the overguard. Check this out. We got the Thraxes. Now let's get the first ability active, 4th ability active. Look at the overguard. Boom, their armor stripped and overguard is out. Look at that. Isn't this just beautiful? Look at that. Now you want to play Gyre as, think about it like this. Think about it as she is a nuke low to mid game, but at the end game she is a buffer for your weapons with third ability and your energy. Also with smite you're gonna be stripping enemies armor and overguard. Also she proccing as much electricity status in there, and she's really good. She's really fun. She's really nice. Now, some Thanos would say, oh, whatever, like, I mean, she at level cap, so she's like any other Warframe. No, she's not. She is specialized on electricity. She's specialized on controlling the room of CC. She is really unique Warframe, and I bet you're gonna love playing with her. In the end, my final opinion about this augment, it is not for the end game. This augment, it is probably for new players who starting out playing Gyre and they're building for health and armor and shield, and they are just wanting to go and survive in low to mid game. This is what I see this augment is made for. Otherwise, we stick to her powerful augments that she already have. So just this build is just perfect the way it is. Just take off this augment and replace it with her powerful augments. Choose which helmet ability you want to take off, first or second. It doesn't really matter. It depends on the style and what you really want to put in enemies or to create the sphere. Up to you. So let me know in the comments below what you like to do and play and how to play Gyre. And don't forget to like, subscribe. It supports a lot channel. Special thanks to Hall of members, especially VIPs, and distributed donators and Hall of donations and everyone in my community. And I will see you guys next time.